get those earmuffs off. And listen to this. Crazy Eddie's Christmas blowout blitz is going on now with the lowest sale prices ever on receivers, speakers, turntables, compact disc players, stereo rack systems, anything and everything in audio equipment. Remember, we are not undersold. We will not be undersold. We cannot be undersold. And we mean it. You don't have to ski cross country to get the lowest sale prices on audio equipment, because Crazy Eddie's Christmas audio blowout blitz is going on now at a Crazy Eddie superstore near you. Crazy Eddie, his prices are...
Lewis is watching. Mark and Lewis. Dick Lewis is watching. Mark and Lewis watching the price. Giving great advice. Watching the store to save you so much more. New Mark and Lewis. We always beat the competition. Dick Lewis is watching.
So this is a well-known story. Actually, this was a real story. Crazy Eddie announced there was a very famous electronics store. The name was Crazy Eddie, and they announced the following. Everywhere they put it in the newspapers and everywhere. We cannot be undersold. We will not be undersold. Our prices are the lowest guaranteed. Our prices are insane. Okay, they all the time advertise that nobody can beat them. And actually Crazy Eddie was very well known to be a cheap electronics store that attracts a lot of buyers. Okay? By the way, as an anecdote, Crazy Eddie was the owner of the store, and he, at some point of time, he lost his memory in the sense that he forgot to pay taxes. And the US government went after him. He ran away to Israel, and he was hiding there for some times until he was extradited back to the US, put in jail, and died in jail. But until then, he made quite a bit of money. Okay. His main competitor was other big store, electronic store by the name of Newmark and Lewis. I call it NNL. Newmark and Lewis is no less ambitious. With any purchase, you get the store's lifetime low price guarantee. Okay, but how they guarantee? It promises to rebate double the difference if you can find a lower price elsewhere. I'm talking about Newmark and Lewis. So in a sense, Crazy Eddie was more blah blah, but they took a commitment. They said, look, if you see in some place, you can prove it. Okay, that somebody else gives the same model. They give you of the good. They give you with lower price. Not only I'll give you the difference, but I'll double the difference. Here's what they wrote. Okay, here is what they wrote. If after you purchase, you find the same model advertised or available for sale for low, confirmed printed proof required by any other local stocking merchant, in this marketing area, during the lifetime of your purchase, we, Newmark and Lewis, will gladly refund by check 100% of the difference, plus an additional 25% of the difference, or, if you prefer, we'll give you 200% gift certificate refund. If you like, let's say that the refund is really worth the same, is it you can use it well. So 200% meaning that if the difference was let's say $10, we'll give you $20 back, maybe in the form of a gift certificate. But let's assume now, just for simplicity, that they give you twice as much as refund. Okay. 100% of the difference plus an additional 100% of the difference in gift certificates. Let's Forget about that it's in a gift certificate, that think of it as money. Just for the example. Are the two stores really competitive? They sound very competitive. They promise to beat the rival's price, and one of them is even committed to refund customers if it is not the cheapest. Amazing. It looks as if they cut the throat of each other. What will happen? Let me tell you the answer. Surprisingly, this can lead to a price-setting cartel, or if you like, to a monopoly price. That's very surprising. How comes? We really very competitive, and we give refund or whatever. How come that the price will go up? I'll tell you why. And by the way, it happened in reality. Suppose that, here's the explanation. Suppose that the two stores sell the same model of DVD, which cost them $100 wholesale, and suppose both Crazy Eddie and Newmark and Lewis are selling it for $150 a piece. Okay, so let's say they have DVD, they buy it from the manufacturer for $100 wholesale price, $100, and they sell $150. It looks as if a big markup, but you have to hire people, you have to rent a big store. It's not that much of a markup. Okay, but let's say. Also suppose that the monopoly price is $200. So if there would be only one, no competition, the right price to maximize profit, the monopoly profit is $200 every DVD, to charge a price of DVD to be $200. Because of the competition, now they charge $150. This is the price a monopoly will set, okay, to maximize its profit. Now, what happens if Newmark and Lewis, the one that made the commitment to give you back twice the difference as a rebate? What happens if Newmark and Lewis raises its price to $160? Wow, raising? Yeah. Effectively, they lower the price because now clients of everyone will come to Newmark and Lewis and say, look, Crazy Eddie sell it for $150 per DVD. You sell it for $160. You promise to double the difference. You have to give me back $20. Actually, you sell it for $140. So all the buyers of DVD buyers, instead of going to Crazy Eddie and pay $150, they go to Newmark and Lewis with a copy of the newspaper where Crazy Eddie says that they charge $150 a piece, and then go to Newmark and Lewis, show them that, and say we want a $20 refund. So they actually pay $140. So what happens? Newmark and Lewis will attract the buyers that typically were buying from Crazy Eddie. They will all start moving to Newmark and Lewis. Crazy Eddie will lose clients. In order to avoid it, he has to raise the price to $160, so there's no difference. Okay? Good. So both of them now charge $160. So Newmark and Lewis raise the price to $170. Again, a flow of buyers may go from Crazy Eddie to Newmark and Lewis, and Crazy Eddie has to raise the price to $170 to avoid people moving to its rival. What happens in between? So every time you raise the price, on one hand, you make more revenue because you sell it for higher price. On the other hand, raising the price, you may start losing buyers that for that price, they are not willing to pay that price. So you lose money from those that don't buy DVD. you make more money for those that do buy, and they pay more and more. So as long as the revenue from increasing the price exceeds the loss from consumers driven out of this market, you continue to raise the price. What is the monopoly price? Is exactly where the gain that you make by raising the price equal the loss of consumers, the loss in revenues from consumers. In that case, you stop. That is the $200 price. So let me repeat. What happens if Newmark and Lewis raises its price to $160? Effectively, it sells a DVD for $140. She refunds a customer for double the difference between her price and the Crazy Eddie price. Customers will switch from Crazy Eddie, who charges $150, to Newmark and Lewis, who effectively charges only $140. To avoid losing customers, Crazy Eddie has no choice but to raise its price to $160 as well, and by the way, is very happy to do it. Okay, you can't dream of a better than splitting the monopoly profit. At this point, Newmark and Lewis will again raise its price to $170. And the Crazy Eddie will have to follow Newmark and Lewis until they reach the cartel price of $200. At this point, none of them has an incentive to change their price. For instance, Crazy Eddie has no incentive to slightly reduce the price in order to capture the market, since he knows that this automatically will enhance a double decrease in price by Newmark and Lewis. I mean, they cannot dream of a better outcome than as if they merge or they monopolize the market and split the monopoly profit. That's what happened. And this is very interesting. By the way, here is where the game theory comes in. When Newmark and Lewis did it, they knew that if they use this strategy, the best reply strategy they should ask how our rival is going to reply to what we do. And they understood that they have their rival has no choice but to raise the price as well. And so they say, we'll raise the price until the monopoly price and everything is nice. By the way, this is not anymore, because of that, it's not anymore lawful. You can refund the difference, but not more than the difference. Okay. Last example that I want to give you, a short one, is something that it's called the most favored customer clause. This clause asserts that the seller will offer to the favored customers the best price they offer to anyone. What does it mean? Suppose that I'm some store that I'm selling some, clothes or DVDs or whatever. And I promise you that down the road, if somebody will reduce, if at one point I'll reduce the price and I'll offer a sale price to attract more buyers, I will refund all of you, and so that you will pay the same price as everyone else. This is called most favored customer clause. Let me read it again. This clause asserts that the seller will offer to the favored customers the best price they offer to anyone. That is, if the seller offers a discount to any new customer down the road, he has to offer the same discount to all previous favored customers. This enables to sustain a cartel, such a thing. Or, okay, let's talk about the cartel. If all cartel members, let's say we are members of a cartel, are committed to this clause, then none of them will have incentive to compete by offering selective discounts to attract new customers away from their rivals. This will enhance the same discount to all established clients. A well-known Okay, let me first, before that, let me even forget about Cartel. Let's talk about one. Gap. Okay? Gap is selling something and they announce that if they will reduce the price, will offer a sale price down the road, you can get in the mail, we'll reduce the price, come with your receipt, we'll give you back, we'll refund you by the amount that you paid minus the amount of, minus the current price, the sale price. Okay, why this is going against the antitrust law, anti-competitive action? Why it is? Because then I commit myself after selling. So first of all, a lot of buyers will come and say, well, we will buy it now. Later on, there will be a sale and we get our money back. So why to wait for a sale? And that's exactly the idea of the seller. Don't wait for a sale. Come buy now. When the sale comes, I'll refund you the difference. But then if many buyers are coming and buy now, he has no incentive to put a sale price. Because then that store must refund so many people, it doesn't pay them to do it. So this is somehow a credible commitment by the store not to use a sale price. So it's actually, it does not allow, it really constrains the competition. Okay, it's a commitment so that by making this commitment of the most favored customer clause, I myself am not willing to reduce the price down the world. It doesn't pay me. And therefore, this is to maintain high price. For the cartel is the same. If you have many members of the cartel and they use it, that is to keep the price up. So let me give you, this will enhance the same discount to all established clients. A well-known antitrust case before the Federal Trade Commissions involved DuPont, Ethyl, and other manufacturers of gasoline additives. They were charged with using the most favored customer clause. The commission ruled that this clause has an anti-competitive effect and forbade the companies from using such clauses in their contracts with customers. Since then, it is not lawful. Let's talk a little bit about backward reasoning and forward looking, and that will lead us to also dynamic games later on. So the inevitable truth about gambling is that one person's gain must be another person's loss. That's the basic idea. Thus, it is especially important to evaluate a gamble from the other side's perspective before accepting. Because if the other one is going to make money, that means that I'm going to lose money. For if they are willing to gamble, they expect to win. I'm expecting to win, you expect to win, so how come that we play the game? Which means they expect you to lose. Someone must be wrong, but who? This case study looks at a bet that seems to profit both sides. That can't be right, but where's the flaw? So look, this is a very nice example. There are two envelopes, each containing an amount of money. The amount of money is either $5, $10, $20, $40, $80, or $160. And everybody knows this. So everyone knows that the two envelopes have each either 5, 10, 20, 40, 80, and 160. We can continue more, but let's stop here. Furthermore, we are told that one envelope contains exactly twice as much money as the other. So actually, two envelopes, one contains twice as much as the other, is taking out, and you give one envelope to one player and another envelope to another player. So they know that when I'm getting my envelope, I know that either I have twice as much as you, or you have twice as much as me. So again, Furthermore, we are told that one envelope contains exactly twice as much money as the other. The two envelopes are shuffled, and we give one envelope to Ali and one to Baba. After both the envelopes are opened, but the amounts inside are kept private. I know how much I have in my envelope, but I don't know what you have in the envelope. I know that it's either half of what I have or twice as much as what I have. Ali and Baba are given the opportunity to switch. So I look on my envelope and I say to myself, maybe I can offer you to switch. If both parties want to switch, we'll let them. Okay, so we can switch. So let's take an example. Suppose Baba opens his envelope and sees $20. He reasons as follows. Ali is equally likely to have either half, which is $10, or twice as much, which is $40. That's on expectation. If I switch, okay, the envelope, I'll get either 10 or 40, equally likely, which is the average of 10 and 40, which is 25, more than 20. For gambles this small, the risk is unimportant, so it is in my interest to switch. Okay? So as Baba seeing in $20 in my envelope, I'm better off switching with Ali. By a similar argument, Ali will want to switch whether she sees 10. Okay, I don't know what she sees. I know that I have 20. So Ali maybe has 10 or 40, twice as much. But no matter if he has 10 or 40, Ali, here is she. It doesn't matter if she has 10 or 40, I claim that she would like to switch. Why? Suppose she has 10. Okay? Since she figures out that Baba, will get either 5 or 20, either Baba has half of the 10 or twice of the 10. So 5 or 20, which has an average of, what is the average of 5 and 20? 12 and a half. 12 and a half is more than 10. So if Ali has 10, she wants to switch. If she has 40, then she figures out that Baba is either 20, half of it, or 80, which has an average of 50, again more than 40. So in both cases, I know that Ali would like to switch. I want to switch, and I know that Ali wants to switch. So both like to switch. How come? And maybe when we switch, we'd like to switch again. Something is wrong here. Both parties can't be better off by switching envelopes. What is the mistaken reasoning? Should Ali and Baba offer to switch? A switch should never occur if Ali and Baba are both rational. Okay, if it's good for me to switch, it's bad for you to switch, and vice versa. So, a switch should never occur if Ali and Baba are both rational, and assume that the other is also rational. The flaw in this reasoning is the assumption that the other side's willingness to switch envelopes does not reveal any information. So the fact that I'm ready to switch reveal information, and the fact that you want to switch reveal information, and I learn, and I may say in that case I don't want to switch. We solve the problem, okay, by looking deeper into what each side thinks about the other thought process. First, we take Ali's perspective about what Baba thinks. Then we use this from Baba's perspective to imagine what Ali might be thinking about him. Finally, we go back to Ali and consider what he should think about how Baba thinks. Ali thinks about Baba, blah, 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 blah. It's not blah, blah, it's Baba. Actually, this all sounds much more complicated than it is. Using the example, the steps are easier to follow. Look, it's a very simple process to find out exactly what's going on in this very simple example. Okay, so let's start with remember, 160 is the highest. Let me go back for a second. The envelope has either 5, the minimum, and then up to 160 maximum. So I can start from 160. Suppose Ali opens his envelope and sees $160 in the envelope. In that case, she knows that she has the greater amount because they know that 160 is the maximum. And hence is unwilling to switch, okay, to participate in a trade. Because if he has the maximum, he knows for sure that Baba has half of it, which is 80. Since Ali won't trade when she has 160. Okay, so first of all, he is not going to trade, she actually. It's very confusing to think of Ali as she, but let's say. So if Ali opens up her envelope and sees $160, she knows for sure that Baba has half. She knows that Baba has either half or twice as much, but 160 is the maximum. So it must be that Baba has 80. Therefore, is Ali, for sure, if I sees 160, if I'm Ali, I would not like to trade. Okay, so now Baba should refuse to switch envelope when he has 80. Why? Because, let me first, watch me now. If Baba has 80, she doesn't know what Ali has. He doesn't know what Ali has. If I see 80, I may think that Ali may have 160 or 40. But I know that if he has 160, he will refuse to trade. Therefore, if he wants to trade, that reveals that he has half of me, 40. And therefore, I don't want to trade. Okay? So why should I accept, I will agree to trade? Okay? Because, if I know that Ali is going to refuse if he has the 160, he's going to accept only if he has half of that, of what I have, 40. So in that case, and if he has 40, I don't want to trade. Okay, let's read it. Baba should refuse to switch envelope when he has 80, for the only time Ali might trade with him occurs when Ali has $40. With 160, he would not like to trade. She will not like to trade. In which case, Baba prefers to keep his original $80. So now we establish the following. If somebody opens up the envelope and sees 160, he doesn't want to, he or she doesn't want to trade. But now we also established that if somebody has 80, he doesn't want to trade. Okay? If one of the two sees 80, they know the other one has either 160 or 40. The 160 person will not like to trade because for sure if he's going to trade, he's going to lose. So the only one that is willing to trade is the one with the 40. And the one with the 40, but in that case I have 80. I don't like to trade. So we established now two things. If a person has 160, you should refuse. If he has 80 or she has 80, she should refuse. Okay. But if Baba won't switch then he has $80, then Ali should not want to trade envelopes when she has $40. Why? If Ali has $40, he knows the other one has either 80 or 20. But we already established that the person with $80 will not switch. And therefore, the only one that may switch is the one with the $20. So therefore, if I have $40, I should not switch. I cannot make money, I can only lose. Again, I read it again. But if Baba won't switch when he has $80, then Ali should not want to trade envelopes when she has $40, since a trade will result only when Baba has $20. If Baba has $80, we know he's going to refuse. So now we establish three things. If a person has 160, he will refuse or she will refuse. If a person has $80, he or she will refuse. If a person has $40, he or she will refuse. Okay. Now we have arrived at the case in hand. If Ali doesn't want to switch envelopes when she has $40, then there's no gain from trade when Baba finds $20 or for $10. Finds $20 for $10. Why? Now, after dealing with 160, 80, and 40, in all of these cases, they have to refuse. Now, let's assume that that Baba finds that in the envelope he has $20. So he knows the other one is that Ali has either 40 or 10. But we already established that $40, a person with a $40 in his or her envelope will refuse. So who is ready to trade? Only one with half of it, with $10. But if this is with $10, I don't want to, as Baba, I don't want to trade because I see $20. So again, we establish that now so I'm going backwardly. Starting from 160, I said no way that somebody with 160 would like to trade. From that I conclude that there's no way that a person having an envelope with 80 would like to trade. Again, he would like to trade only if he believes that the other one has 160, but if the other one has 160, he or she will not like to trade with me. So I established that 80 doesn't want to trade, then 40 doesn't want to trade, then 20 doesn't want to trade, okay? Then there's no gain. Then there's no gain from trade when Baba finds $20, because if he's going to trade, he will trade it for 10. The 40 will refuse. The only person who is willing to trade is someone who finds $5 in the envelope, because he cannot go down. But of course, the other side doesn't want to trade with him, because the other one will, if he has $10, he knows that 20 is going to refuse. So only 5 is going to accept. So in this case, why should I even thinking of trade? So this by this reasoning, okay, by backward induction, it's called. We establish who is gone that none except for the $5 envelope, no one would like to trade. What was the wrong reasoning with the average? We completely ignore the fact that why, if I have 40, it's not that it's probability half that you have 80 or 50, maybe, but with 80 you're not going to like to trade with me. Only with 20 if I have 40. So in that case, that part of gathering information, and think of it by looking backwardly, I can conclude that none of us would like to switch except if one of us has $5 in the envelope. So there's no contradiction. But the idea is, again, by working or by analyzing the game from the end to the start, backward induction. Good. So that brings us to more to analyze more general games called dynamic games, or games where the players play sequentially.